just to refresh, so here we're looking at a case screen, and this Ask VA or AVA, individual users send in their problems through the Ask VA website. It's ask.va.gov. And so here's a case that someone sent in, and we have the question here, which this is the most important thing. Whenever you look at a case, you want to read and try to understand and interpret what they're asking for in the question. So this looks to be a sign-in issue. Okay, and he had trouble, didn't receive the code from id.me. So in this case, see, we don't have the information that id.me has in terms of two-factor authentication codes and all that. So they would have to contact id.me directly. And looking at the correspondence history right here, it looks like the way it's played out, there's been back and forth, but we're not going to dig into that right now. I want to show you, like I said, just some of the basics that we didn't get to before. All right, so as we figured, they're going to have to contact id.me. Let's assume for a minute that they haven't done this already. I'm just giving you a basic example. If you need to send them a correspondence and back to the email address that they have on file with their AVA account, you'll need to send them correspondence. So hit that plus for a new response. Oh, it's not assigned to me. Oh, okay. Well, first things first, let's assign that. Okay, that was this one. So here's the first thing. Really, really it's the second thing. Rayon, do you remember what I said? The first thing you should do every time you get involved in AVA before you do anything else?
Yes, I think it's either you look at the crisis inquiries,
Yep,
right?
exactly right. So the default screen, which is probably going to be set to your own queue, uh, from there, you click on the arrow up here, and you want to check my team's crisis inquiries. And it turns out there is one. I already looked at this earlier. See, Chewy, I don't know if you're familiar, but the way that this crisis queue works, it scans the incoming messages for keywords that may indicate that the veteran or whoever the user is possibly considering self harm or harming others, or violent behavior, whatever the case may be. I don't know exactly what the trigger words are, but they're programmed into the system, and if it detects any of them, it will move their case into the crisis queue automatically. We don't need to do that. But
Gotcha.
I'm going to point at this just to see, like, okay, so you can see the message. So it just says his name is wrong on his VA profile. Uh, he's attached documents from the court. Um, all right, so he's basically asking us to change the name on his profile. Okay, so that's not a crisis. I mean, this is something. It's only been in the queue for one day, and Chewy, the SLA on this is 10 days, like it is with HRC. I believe it's the same. Um, like I said, though, we just on sheer volume alone, uh, we don't get too many late cases in AVA. I mean, there are some holdovers where the user has gone back and forth with technical teams in other queues, and by other queues, I mean if you come across a case that is clearly not something that we can handle, but you know who would, um, you can reroute it to another team's queue. And sometimes when you go back into a case, you might see that there's a back and forth in the correspondence channel between the agent and the user, or if the user is just particularly chatty. I mean, sometimes you run into people like that. Every time, if you've addressed a case and closed it, but then the user sends an email back in response, it will automatically reopen the case. Now, in that instance, the SLA, the number of days old, resets to 0 again if the case had been closed. And it'll say in the processing status, instead of new, it'll say reopened. Anyway, this isn't really a crisis, but if it was, what we would do, you click to select the case, you click assign, and it will automatically assign it to the current user, which, of course, if you're using it, that's you. So we will save and close. Are you sure? There's going to be a lot of are you sure dialog boxes. You just have to click through. And you will see the owner here changes from vacova.gov technical support to your name. So if you go and click on this little suitcase here, which brings you to the default screen, see now you'll notice that this is now in my queue. All right, but not going to work that right now. Well, actually, you know what? Yes, let's use that as the example still. All right, so let's assume that we need to send them an email, a correspondence. We'll click on the plus to create a new response. And what that brings us to, click on message here. Okay, and the message text field is blank. This is where we're typing, or in this case, using a template, which I just barely touched on last time. So if you want to use a template, you scroll down to active standard text, and you want to use the keyword field, type an asterisk, and then the keyword. So in this case, let's say it was id.me. So we'll enter that, and it will give you a number of choices. Best thing to do is just to you'll have to just kind of wade through and decide which one fits best. But let's say it's a basic, I don't have my code, so I need id.me customer service. All right, so, it's showing all of them at once. Normally there's arrows to go from one page to the next. All right, so we will scroll and see we have id.me. Can't sign in because they're not getting the code. So if we click on select that one, if we know that's the right one, then this is important. You have to go here to insert text. So you click on that. And look, it plugged the template into the field. And this will have the web address for their customer service. There's their help site. And then there's also I guess a chatbot option, but they'll see that when they go to the help site. So if you are satisfied with what you have in the text field here and you're ready to send it, if you have nothing else to do with the case but just to send that, then you would click send and solve, and it would, I believe, bring you back to the main screen for that case. At that point, then you would have to go up to save and close. If you're sure you're done, if you've sent the message that they need, save and close. And then once you've done that, it brings you back to your queue and whatever's left. But let's say you don't have anything else in your queue. Well, okay, you want to go to My Team's Unsolved Inquiries here, and that will bring the full list. And that includes, you'll see some other names in here. These are different EVSS representatives: Linda, Elijah, Cody, Chris Craig, Lighthouse EVSS. So leave those ones alone. It's already in their possession. We only want to assign to ourselves cases with this owner, vacova.gov tech support. So one trick that I do for this column, if you next to owner, if you click on this, you can sort. One thing I do is I just sort from reverse alphabetical order. So V being near the end of the alphabet, that brings those ones to the top. And you can choose however many you like. You can choose one, you can choose two, you can, if you wanted the whole column, hold the shift down and it selects all of them. Common command, you have an email and things like that. All right, here I'm going to go to this one and show you. Any questions so far on just what I just talked about?
No, not at the moment.
No, I'm good.
Okay, and I'll edit this together so that it'll all be pretty seamless. But let's see. So that's how you would choose to send them a message. Let's say that you needed to reroute to another queue. And I covered this a little bit last time, but there are some other aspects of it I didn't quite get to. So, oh, and Chewy, just hang on a second. Just so you're looking at it, I'm showing it here. The inquiry actions arranged by date, it shows the different, where this ticket has been routed and whether somebody else had already sent them a correspondence, which if they did, of course, that copy of that would be up here in the correspondence box. So from the time that their ticket hits the system, the user's ticket hits the system and they enter it at Ask VA, it starts recording the different steps. And you see private note here. That's always something if you need to make a note on the file for future agents, you would go into and you can private note right there. And then you would type the note in this description field and then click save and close, and that'll save it to the file. That I don't have to do that very often, but occasionally. All right, but there are some more things in this inquiry actions box I want to show you about rerouting. Now, I believe I talked about medical cases last time and how to reroute to the closest VA medical center. Don't think that I got to education. So anything, any case that involves education, GI Bill, enrollment, anything like that that the user may have questions or issues about, you want to make sure to answer yes to GI Bill. And then if you know what state they're in, like, and that you would look under veteran details, which is up here. And this is earlier in the video, but yeah, if veteran detail, they'll probably list their state. And so you would type that here, like let's say it's Hawaii. Start typing it. It'll automatically come up and you can select it. I won't do it here though. If you don't know what state they're in, they don't list it, click this box, submitter state unknown. And in either case, put in a description of what the person is asking for. Scroll down here to reroute reason, or why you're routing it to them. And in 99 cases out of 100, you're going to be marking wrong queue. It's not something that we handle within our own customer service queue. The GI Bill queue, the education queue would need to handle that. So you've marked reroute, you say yes to GI Bill, put in the state information if you know it, put in a little bit of guiding information for the next agent that looks at this file, mark wrong queue, then again, you would save and close, which I'm not going to do here. Let's see, what else do we have within reroute? Yes, okay. So cases where a user needs to make changes to their name on their profile, situations where there may be duplicate accounts, that happens a fair amount. Or the user is expecting to see certain things on their file, like certain letters, but those are not reflected there online, or at least they can't see them. In this case, we are rerouting those to EVSS. And you literally type that in this field. and select EVSS. And the rest is the same. You put in a description, mark, wrong queue, save and close. Let's see if there's anything else in there. Okay, let's say that there are duplicate tickets. Like, let's say the user accidentally submitted a ticket twice, and you've already the other one of the two tickets has already been handled. Let's say you want to get the case number from that, and by in doing that, what you can do, you look at the submitter inquiry history, and if you see questions where the what they've written is exactly the same, that's definitely a duplication instance. Let's see, veteran. Okay, so one of these was submitted by the veteran, the other was not. All right, and that won't matter so much for what you're doing. But okay, so there was not a duplicate in here, but let's assume that there was. So with the duplicate, you would go into it, so go into inquiry action, select the action type solve, and then just describe in this field something like already solved in case number. And Chewy, you probably already figured this, but here's the case number at the top. It's always A dash and then this series of numbers. So not too different from what you see in HRC dynamics, but all right. So we put in the description, and then the solved reason is it's a duplicate. Or let's say, back up for a second, let's say that a case was reactivated because the user was emailing back, thank you, that solved my problem. So their problem is resolved, but it reopened the case. So what you would do in that instance is same thing. You'd come in here, you'd solve, put in the description, user responded thanking us for solution or something to that effect. But there you would select resolved because it had already been resolved. They were just saying thank you or whatever the case. And then you would save and close. Let's see. Bear with me 1 second. I haven't used this one all that much, this mark as business inquiry. All right. Well, I suppose from the looks of this, and I haven't had to do it, and you may not either, but if you receive a message in the AVA queue that involves one of these categories where it's a supervisor or a school representative officer, a school certifying official, that's the verbiage, then I suppose if it's regarding a business account, like in the case, all right, let's see if we select that. So if it is a school certifying official, state of the school, all right, facility code, that's, you know what, let's you won't need this. And if you do come across something where you aren't sure, like I said, just feel free to ask me and we can work through it. So let's back off of that action for a second. Let's see. Rayon, did I talk much about flag for supervisor yesterday? I don't, or Monday.
Yes, you did bring it up. You said that if there's something that needs to be flagged for supervisor, I think it automatically assigns to Kim, right?
Yes. Well, no, you have to type in the name. See, flag for
Oh, okay.
supervisor,
But the
Kimberly.
supervisors are Kimberly, and then you're the other supervisor as well, right?
Yeah,
For
I'm not. I think that on file they have to have one person, but yeah, I can help with a lot of these things as well. So, like I said, if you
okay,
if you come across a problem in Ava, feel free to ask me. But yeah, you guys are still, as I understand it, and this may change depending upon what Kimberly says, of course, but you'll still be spending the bulk of your time with HRC. This is AVA is just this is kind of backup role or just occasionally like maybe once a week or a little more you can check in just to see how the queue is looking. Anyway, so yeah, if it's a case that you're escalating to Kimberly, start typing in the name, select it, put in a description, and then when you hit save and close, it should automatically assign it to her queue so it won't appear in your personal queue any longer, anything that you've assigned to yourself. Let's see. Can't think of anything else that we didn't cover last time. So I think what I'll do at this point is I'll make sure to edit that video together, get it up to you as soon as possible. That way you can start, taking little bites and practicing with it. And uh, if something is entirely clear, feel free to perform the action, whether it's sending a correspondence or rerouting the case. And yeah, feel free to do those yourself, but always ask questions if you're not sure.
yeah, I
Uh,
have a couple questions.
yeah, did you can yeah go ahead and ask.
Very simple, but like the first one is that, do any of the cases that we work on, will it ever have to be in snow or is it just in Ava? I'm not
This
100% sure if I asked this on Monday, so I just wanted to ask
No, it's a
again.
good question. With Ava, it's almost always pretty self-contained. If it if it goes to a tier 3 level issue that requires more research, then what I have done in the past is I will send a message to the user, just basically telling him, thank you for your inquiry. We're sorry you've encountered this problem. We are researching the matter and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So you would send them a correspondence, and then this part's important. After you've sent the correspondence, oh, okay. Let me go back to my queue so I can show you. Okay, since this is already assigned to me, I can do it. So if we were sending a correspondence, click on message. What you want to do at that point is not solve the case because it's not solved yet. Just click send. It'll send the message, and then you want to make sure that you get back to this main screen. Maybe add one of those private notes like I mentioned earlier. That way you're just marking what it is that you're doing in case another agent sees this and they need the information about where the case is currently at, what the progress is. And then it will stay in your queue. Um, I would say, yeah, you're not. I have not had the occasion to have to use snow for any of this, but you would follow up on it in a standard way that you would a tier 3 case in terms of um, creating a ticket for it and what have you, like we've been doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. You said you had another question?
Uh, yeah, the other question was, so just asking, so the first part of the training video, that's in the Teams channel
It will be,
under
yes.
the file? Okay,
Yeah, I have
gotcha.
to edit these together first, but yeah, it will be in
Okay.
there.
But
Very
you're
soon.
saying that when you edit them together, it'll be like just like all one video?
Yes, correct.
Perfect. Thank you.
That way you can pause it and go at your own pace and Yeah, just how whatever works best for you.
Okay.
Chewy, I know you're kind of joining in the middle of things. Do you have any questions at this point?
No, I'm good. Once I see the video, I'll be okay. If I have any questions, I know to ask you or Rayhan.
Very good, very good. All right. So I think that that's good for the basics. Like I said, I'll get that video out to you as soon as possible, and then you can start just sort of trying out cases. And if it's everything seems pretty clear, feel free to go ahead and work toward the resolution. If not, no problem asking me. I'll always be available to help.